Hey guys, Peter here to do an album review. Today I'm here to tell you all about the debut record from Tungsten, We Will Rise, out September 20th on A Rising Empire. This album has 12 tracks and it's 44 minutes in length. I really feel listening to this record that this is a melodic metal band. It's really hard for you to look at this record, listen to it, and then pigeonhole them into a specific category. The album is very diverse in nature, is very fluid, both from a musical perspective as well as a lyrical perspective. They just use bits and pieces from so many different genres, both past and present, that it's really hard to feel for one specific genre. So I really feel that melodic metal really has a much wider blanket that covers the overall feel of this album. When you're listening to it, you're going to get certain nuances of power metal, melodic metal, heavy metal, folk metal, rock, even swing. These are some of the components that you're going to get from the musical side of this record. What this does is it creates an album that's extremely fluid and very dynamic, almost like it feels like it's pulling the listener into 1,000 different directions. That's the vibe that you get listening to this record because of the diversity in sound. Now, the diversity in sound, there's some positives to that, but there's some negatives to that. A positive to that is that you're going to get every song sounding different. Every song has a different approach, every song has a different DNA, every song has a different backbone, every song has a different feel and vibe. That is a positive. The negative is that creates a little bit of a disconnect throughout the 12 tracks. And it creates what I normally call either a greatest hits kind of album or a Spotify album, which means when you're listening to it on an individual track by track basis, it's absolutely fine. Each song is very strong and vibrant on their own. But when you're listening to the whole album from beginning to end, you feel like there's a little bit of disconnect from track to track. There isn't a common thread that really unifies the whole record. Normally when a record is this fluid, this dynamic, from a musical perspective, bands tend to have a common denominator as far as the lyrics are concerned, and that is the glue that holds the whole album together. In this album, that's not the case, because even from a lyrical perspective, it's very dynamic and very fluid. You have topics that range from fiction, fantasy, war, ancient wars, heroes, knights, common day issues that are happening right now to us in our everyday life. So even from a lyrical perspective, it's so fluid and so dynamic that even from that perspective, you don't have that common thread that really holds this whole record together. So I feel overall there's a little bit of disconnect from track to track, but when you look at individual tracks, it's very strong on an individual track basis. Now, this to me is a wonderful record. It is a record that really shows some promise for this band, and it really allows this band to create a modern day metal record that has a lot of roots in the past. The way they created these songs, you feel like they range from as far back as the 40s all the way to modern day. So they were not afraid of pulling a lot of influences from bands and from eras that they personally listened to, and incorporating them together and creating an album that sounds fresh and modern. A lot of that also comes from the keyboards that they use on the record. The keyboard melodies that they use really give this album this new wave, this new era of metal. It just has this new sound, almost like they have, almost like they did a facelift on songs that perhaps would be better fitted in an older era, and now with this new sound, with this keyboard, with this melody that they added to the tracks, they make the songs more vibrant and feel more modern. So overall, for a debut record, I enjoyed it. I really liked it. Like I said, there's a few things that I would have done differently as far as the lyrical, at least from the lyrical perspective, to really make the album more concise, more robust, more together. But when you're looking at the individual tracks, this album is filled with gems. Songs that are very hooky, very catchy, almost a little bit popish at times, but that it adds to the hookiness and how catchy those songs become to a listener. So overall, for a debut record, this is a very strong release, and I think this has promise. So this really opens the door perhaps for this band to work on a future record and grow from this point on. When you're releasing a debut album, it's always tough, and this debut album to me almost creates more questions than it offers answers, and that is not a bad thing, because that will keep me motivated and excited to check out a future release from these guys. Now, as far as songs are concerned, these are not my favorite songs, but these are 3 tracks that, in my opinion, offer something really different and perhaps unique to this record. I want to start with It Ain't Over. This song has this new wave of power metal vibe to it. This new sound that we're getting out from power metal bands that incorporate a lot of keyboard melodies and a lot of synthesizer. So this song is one of those songs on this record. It really has a heavier, darker verses, and then has a pre-chorus that just merges really well with the chorus. And in the pre-chorus you have layers to the vocals, and then in the chorus you really have a really catchy melody that makes it almost poppy-like, that really allows the song to have become almost a earworm of a track. So I really like the blend that you get from the verses to the pre-chorus and to the chorus. All of them really have a perfect segue from one to the other, creating a really good fluidity to the overall track. Following the second chorus on this song, you get a great keyboard melody that then bridges the song over to another chorus and really allows this track to remain feeling like an electronic power metal keyboard driven track, because that's what it is. And by adding that keyboard bridge there, it makes it more noticeable. It really brings that keyboard even more to the forefront, where perhaps you would expect a guitar solo. They added a keyboard, makes this whole electronic sound a lot more predominant, a lot more dominant, a lot more driven, and that's what you get from this track. Next, Sweet Vendetta. This song is my absolute, okay, I said that perhaps these are not my favorite songs. This song is my favorite song on the album. This song is like a jazz swing track, almost like Cherry Poppin' Daddies meets metal. That's the whole vibe that I got from this track. And you know what? It may sound strange, it may sound different, and it is strange and different, but it's absolutely magnificent. I love it. I love the start bass that opens up the track. Really groovy, really jazzy. I really like that. Then it goes on to a keyboard melody, and it has this song has a great dynamic. In the chorus, the instrumentation that you get in the chorus mixed in with the melody is what really gives you that swing feel to the song. You really feel like you're listening to a Cherry Poppin' Daddy song, but turned into metal. So I really like that the chorus has that vibe. That vibe is not necessarily there present through verses and chorus. It's more predominant in the chorus, but it almost feels like the verses are building up to it. And when it comes in the chorus, it becomes very robust, it becomes very thick, it becomes very predominant, and I really like that. I really like the idea of having this swing that meets metal within this track. Great track, unconventional for sure, but a great track, a great merger of sounds, of genres, into a track that really works well for this specific record. My favorite track on the album. Last but not least, to the bottom, a song that has a great tempo from the beginning, and dips a little bit once you get into the first verses of the song. It dips a little bit. It has a little bit of a dark keyboard melody. Keyboards are really predominant throughout this record, as I mentioned before, and in this song they use it to give a little bit of a dark melody to the track. It picks back up again in the chorus, so it's a song that has layers to the vocal track, but there's also layers and it to the way this song musically is structured. I like that. I like the dynamic that it offers. I like the dips. I like the peaks, the valleys. I like that change. I like those nuances. Work really well to this song. It works actually to perfection to the type of song that it is. This song has a beautiful keyboard bridge as well, following the second chorus that just fits like a glove. I was expecting a guitar solo to come in that part, but the song is so keyboard driven. The song has such good fluidity that almost makes more sense to have a keyboard in that spot instead of a guitar solo. I think the guitar solo would break away a little bit from the overall feel, from the overall mood that this track offers. So having the keyboard there versus the guitar works a lot better. I really like that. I like the dynamic that it gives. I like the fluidity that it gives. So I was hoping for a guitar solo, but when I got the keyboard solo, I understood why the keyboard solo was there, and it made a lot more sense from an overall structural perspective as far as this song is concerned. Alright guys, this is it for me. This is Tungsten. We will rise out September 20th on the Rising Empire. Let me know your thoughts on the band. They've released a couple of singles. Check it out. Let me know your thoughts. Use the comment section below. I'll be reading those as always and getting back to you. Take care guys.